Hey there, NAC Warriors. How are you doing today? So, what do we got going on today? Today we are doing step number 2 in the journey, and actually I'm walking you through the NAC Warrior Roadmaps. And yesterday we talked about my new NAC Warrior, what's going to happen in the future. Today we're going to be talking about the key to your success in health and fitness, which is the order in which we accomplish things. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in this episode. So, but before I jump into that, what I wanted to do is kind of prep you, because what I would like you to think about as we go through this today's show is to kind of think about your order of things. And I'll go a little bit more deeper on that, but as I start talking about things, some things are going to register with you and some things are going to sort of not resonate with you and you're going to push away from it. That's good. I want you to pay attention to when I start talking about the way I order things, what pushes you away and what actually attracts you, because this will help you if you go take that step. If you haven't done it already, yesterday, you can watch that episode as I walk you through the future or your new NAC Warrior. This is like who we want to be in the future, okay? So, if you're here for the first time, thank you for showing up. I do this live I try to do it at 12 p.m. Eastern, but being a busy father, it's crazy whenever you get a chance, you jump on live. So typically I like to do this at 12 p.m. Eastern time, but whenever I can. But you can guarantee that I will be live at least once a day or at some point in the day. So, and if you can't make it for whatever reason, I'll always have a replay on our YouTube, and you can always watch it here on Facebook, and also a podcast on any major podcast. And speaking of which, if you are watching this on the replay on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that notification so when the new one comes, you know it's ready there for you. And please leave a comment below so that I know what's on your mind. Like what did you appreciate from the show? What things that I may have missed from your perspective? I'm just sharing my journey with you, so your journey may be very different, and I'm very interested in hearing about your journey. How are you going through this? And, what are you reflecting back on? Or maybe there's something you just, besides what I'm doing now, maybe you want some other topic that you'd like me to talk about. Please let me know that. If you're listening to the podcast, same thing. Make sure you follow the show so that you get the updates there ready for you. And leave a comment there. I usually put a question there for you to respond and let me know what's going on. And if you're watching this somewhere else, like here on Facebook or wherever, please leave a comment below so that I know that if you have questions about what I talk about, again, anything, just let me know. The more feedback you give me, the more I can produce better information for you to help you on your fitness journey. And I can maybe share what I'm experiencing and maybe what I would do in your situation. Your situation may be different. This is more geared against for busy individuals. So, but if you leave a question, I will get to that. So today, what I'm looking at today is no sponsors, but I do have a free worksheet, the NAC Warrior Roadmap worksheet, which I'm showing you as I walk through it. The link should be in the description or the comments, and just click that and you can get the free version of it, and then you can start following along with me. If you're kind of behind, that's okay. Go watch the previous episode and I kind of walk you through step by step on how to do that, and then you can catch up with us here. So with that, let's really jump into this.
Welcome to the NAC Warrior Show. This show is for busy entrepreneurs looking to take back control of their health and fitness. Join Angelo Santitto as he shares his secrets to health and fitness success.
So, yesterday we talked about the future NAC Warrior and what I wanted to get done. Like, what did I want that warrior to be doing? What are the habits that they are doing? Now we're going to be talking about what is the order in which we should do them. And what do I mean by that? A lot of you out there are thinking, hey, I want to be a runner, and I heard running is good. But running may not be something that inspires you. So first of all, you got to pick something that inspires you to want to go out there and do it. Functionally, that might not be so interesting, and that's why for me, like, to add a little zest to it, I'm using salt bags for lifting 160 pounds up and down the stairs. So that adds a little zest to it instead of going to a gym or something like that. But you got to find something that's interesting for you. But what I discovered personally is that one of the things that you need to pay attention to is the order in which you do things. For example, I love food. So to get me to start my fitness journey in regards to nutrition is really hard for me to do. In fact, I need to actually start exercising first. And once I start seeing gains there, it intrigues me to want to go even further and get better. And so then the next thing that follows would be food, but in controlling my food. But even within exercising itself, there's an order to it, right? So for instance, and it may not even be what you think it is. For example, I may have mentioned this before. If anything I am weak on, it is my stomach, and the abdomen is where I hold my fat. And that is the last place my body's going to burn fat. And regardless of what the research says out there, I can say certainly for me, even if I target my belly, I cannot get rid of that fat, targeting. I can't target that fat. Now, I'm not going to say that you can't target the fat, or you can. I'm not going to choose a fence. And that's one of the biggest things about me when you see my journey is I hear the noise out there, but I don't listen to the noise necessarily. I try it on my body and see, hey, can I isolate my stomach and burn that fat off? Because if I can, great. If I can't, then, So I found that I cannot. And so you would think that would be one of the places that I work out on first to really try to get that as best as I can. But in actuality, that's not what comes first for me. Upper body needs to come first. Once I start seeing my upper body make some progress, then I will move down to my lower abs. And actually, running comes first for me, walking and running. I've been trying to switch that up to see if I can change my belief systems, but that's another another thing. But you have to understand what that order is for you. So when I talked earlier about, what resists against you, what do you resonate with in the order, you got to try to figure that out, because you don't want to do something that you're not really intrigued to doing just because you feel like you have to do it, because that's one of the ways that you're going to fail. One of the best ways to succeed is to actually do what makes you feel good, right? And it's not even, and I say feel, it's actually external and internal. What makes you look good, but also what makes you feel good. And there may be even an order to that, meaning that for me, as an example, when I do upper body, I like to see how I look first. Once I start seeing even the slightest little inspiration of improvement on my upper body, I start feeling better. And that naturally comes. Once that comes on my arms, that's my shoulders and my arms, then I start moving towards my pecs, then I start moving towards my abdomen and my abs and obliques and all those things. So there's an order to things that I found out, at least for me. And so I encourage you to find out that order. And what I'm going to do right now is share my, and if you're asking questions, I'll jump over there very soon, but I just wanted to share with this first. That's not it. Those are my taxes. Here we go. So here down below, you have the whatchamacallit, the new NAC Warrior, right? Down here. This is what I mapped out for what I'm going to be doing as my new NAC Warrior at 120 years old, right? Actually, I pushed it. I always said I was going to live to 104, and I said, why go 104? Why not go 120? I don't know why that number came up to me, but I did. But now you see here, I'm skipping this part called the map right now. Don't worry about the map. Right now, we're going to go up into your 6 habits of order. And you can see here I have numbers and a little description. And those descriptions match up with my NAC Warrior, future NAC Warrior down here. And you can see that the first thing I want to work on is my mentality internally to make sure I'm aware, alert, confident, energetic, and in control. And the reason I chose this as first is because I worked so hard to get here to the state that I'm in that I don't want to lose that. Like, I know if I can control that, everything else will fall into place eventually. But I need to control that first. And I've seen lots of the biggest improvement I've seen is because of the changes in the way I think about health and fitness. The rest of it kind of came with it because I started doing that. Like, I now found when I was working on my mentality, I'm like, I started thinking like, why is it so hard for me to do this and to do that? And why is it like so interesting that I do it this way? And then I started realizing like we all have a combination and we have to figure out what that is. And one thing I'll have to say about the NAC Warrior Roadmap, just because I have it written here does not mean it's set in stone. This is what my initial plan is. As I go through the journey, or as I start thinking and start building my NAC Warrior Roadmap, I may start changing things because it doesn't make sense or something comes up. And I can tell you like right away, some of the, and again, this is why typically when I teach people the NAC Warrior Roadmap, we start from all the way up here. Right now I'm working backwards because there's some things you have to know, like for instance, seasons. Like I know where I'm placing some of this. I needed to place it there because of my seasons, which we'll talk about in the future as we keep building this roadmap up for ourselves. So here you can see internal, external, and then we have the 6 habits. And I don't break it out as deep as I do here at the very bottom. I just kind of place them in here. And then you can see that the second thing I want to work on is posture. There is something mentally in my mind that has something so hard against doing this. And I've been trying to be so aware of it. And it's something that I want to, it's something I'm naturally always starting to think about because I don't want like hunchback or anything like that. That's like one of the biggest things to me that notifies that I'm old. So I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. And I know if I can nail that down, and all it is 1 minute of an exercise a day to take care of that. And this is an exercise I got from a chiropractor. Then I can do this. It would make me feel really good. And then so here you can see all the different, I'm not going to go through them all, but you can see here. The one thing I wanted to point out though is the 5K. I like to run, but you know that it's out of all of these, there's 25. I ranked 25 different items, and you can see that 5K is 19 and 20. You may be thinking, Angelo, if you like running so much, why is it one of the last things on your list? Or maybe now you're thinking it. That's because we're in the winter season right now. And because of that, I don't want to get too much into running yet. Like I know I'm going to be fighting that weather. I'm not a winter person, so I know that about myself here. And I'm not ready and willing to battle that right now. So I'm going to try to work on other things that I can do indoor, comfortably warm, instead of going out there and suffering in the cold. Then once and I know this about myself, once I'm really running and getting into it, then I know that no matter what the ailments will be, I will charge right through it. But I didn't want to put myself through that torment. I wanted to, because some of this stuff is still like I know mentally where I'm gonna start hitting some challenges. So it's gonna be interesting, this new version of me when I'm 120, and I have to keep that in perspective. Like, this isn't me now. This is me in the future. So this is what I want to work towards. And some of this, I'm like, well, some of it's kind of boring, but I may have to figure out a way to spice it up because I'll be talking about that, the reason for that tomorrow, actually. But anyways, so what you want to do is go in here and see, okay, if I usually for me, once I see it, then I start feeling it, right? And it's this play. Is there any one that is sort of switched? Let me see here. 21, 22, 23, 24. No, pretty much I know this about me. I know if I start looking, and it doesn't take much, it just takes a little bit for me in order. And this is when I went on this journey. If you're starting from sort of like you're starting your health and fitness journey and trying to awaken your inner warrior, this is what I found during that time period. Like, I was struggling why I couldn't eat healthy, and finally it started tweaking when I started putting everything together. One of the things was the order, and once I got it into the proper order, things started coming naturally. Like, I wasn't fighting myself. And some of this may take some playing, right? So you're going to guess, and when you actually start going out there and doing it, you may have to reorganize the order in which you put it. And that's why I'm saying, like, this is not a solid document, especially if you've never done this before. We're just putting something down. Like, even though I know this can change and I know myself fairly well at this point, this could still end up changing because I'm trying to aim for a different part of my life, which means that I'm going to hit mental blocks. I'm going to start hitting all the things that I did before, just in a different way. And I'm not sure I don't know what I don't know, if that makes any sense. So here I am doing the best I can to figure out the order. Who knows? I may get really, I even put running a football field before the 5K. And the reason I did that is because I want to work on speed before I go endurance. I know I've got the endurance, mentally, I can do the endurance. Mentally, I start breaking down on the sprinting and stuff. So I wanted to, at this point where I put it in there, I strategically put it right there because I wanted to say, well, if I'm going to get competitive, and this is what makes me nervous, because I left the competitive side of myself because of time and everything. I wanted to put the 5K last, but if I was going to be competitive, I wanted to be on the speed side first, right? And not that distancey stuff. That stuff comes easy to me. And that's not to be to put me high on a pedestal. It's just something I've done so much in my life that I feel confident in that area. You may feel confident in somewhere else where I feel weak. Like when we get to pull-ups, pull-ups are like my nemesis. But it's easy to do down here or here. I have to wait till after Christmas because the whole basement right now is full of Christmas wrappings and all that stuff, so I can't get to my pull-up bar. But after Christmas, I can almost guarantee that I will be starting to work on those pull-ups. But that's for another day. So that's what I wanted to talk about for now. So your next step, after you've created your new NAC Warrior, what do they look like? What are they doing? Then we'll work on what order do we want to do things in. And then tomorrow we're going to be talking about our why and why that's important with the rest of this, and really starting to really focus on how we're going to do this. So this is more like brain dump, right? Our future warrior. Put it in the order in which we think we're going to accomplish and ease and have fun with doing this when we start actually attacking each of these things. And I'll also show you why we prioritize it later on in further back into when we get further into the NAC Warrior Roadmap here. So let me go back to here, and let me switch over to see. Nope, I don't want to do that. I want to go here. Just check this real quick. Okay. So let's just do this real quick. Again, if you have any questions on any of this, feel free to reach out to me. I try to put all my contact information where I can, but yeah, if you haven't already, please go out there in the description, click that link to go get your free NAC Warrior Roadmap worksheet. Also, don't forget to join our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is where I will be hanging out. Like, if you post something there, that's the best way to reach me for sure, or direct message, either one. I'm there, sort of like always. My phone's like always glued to me. My family makes fun of me. It's going to be really tough during Christmas, but I still plan to go live at some point during Christmas, even if it's real short. But anyways, so with that, again, if you have something that you want me to talk about, something that you have questions on, something that resonates with you, something you even dispute, like, I love a good conversation of different beliefs, different opinions. If you have something that you've researched that counters something, or something you love me to dive deep into that will help you on your journey, please let me know. That will help me so much in helping you. And yeah, with that, I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you again for listening in. And yeah, I can't wait to talk about the next step, which will be all about the why, your why. And I'm going to dive into that a little bit. And I know I've talked about that one a little bit, let's say maybe more often than anything else. But now I'm going to show you why your why actually matters. And so that will be tomorrow, okay? With that, I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.